Hi Flosstube, it's Diane. Yes, my kids are upstairs and you will probably hear them stomp through. I don't know what's going on. This is my June-July update video. And I have everything. I have everything. Someone asked me, didn't I have a bookshelf here? Yes, I did. I have to move some furniture around. So, it's just in another room right now. I'm going to move you just a shade here. Hold on. There, I think that'll be a little better. Start the looking at my notes here. Wine and Whips from Stitch Maynia. This is the piece, my main wine and whip piece. Stoney Creek magazine. And it way back here. It is a finish. Yay! I'm gonna go close. So originally it's a 20-year anniversary, but obviously I missed that, so I changed it to 25. And this particular chart has an alphabet chart and a number chart, so I just took the 5 from that. Instead of the pearl cotton that it was charted for, I used Petite Treasure Braid PB40. This charm is the charm that is originally called for in the design. And these bouquets, if you've stitched Stoney Creek magazine patterns or Stoney Creek publishing patterns, you're aware that they use a lot of colors to get the depth in their designs. So the roses here, right here, there are 5 different pinks in there. You think, oh, there's, 3, 4, there's 5. So it wasn't exactly confetti. I wouldn't, because I have Haid that has confetti, but it was changing colors a lot and then kind of jumping around a little bit. They also use a lot of blended threads. This does not have blended threads. They use a lot of special fibers. This does have special fibers in it. They use embellishments. This has a few. Specialty stitches. There's only one. But other than that, it gives their, you can look at a design, and especially if you've stitched a particular designer, you can say, oh, that's a Mira, or that's an Alessandra Adelaide, or that's a Prairie School, or what have you. Stoney Creek has that feel too. And these bouquets, they were the last major pieces that I stitched. Yeah. I had this one done and I said, oh man, I need a break before I do the other one, because they're mirror. And so I started another project, and I'll show it in a minute, but I did that other project for a few days and then went back and finished this. But I love this color. This color is Threadworks. It is called Spanish Olives. I just love it. And then here is the only special stitch, are these little satin hearts. And a satin stitch is really easy. What gives the shape is where you come up and go down. But you do need to make sure that there's 2 strands and you want to railroad your stitches on those. But then down, and then my husband and my name. I did have to change this part. It's supposed to be 3 diamonds wide, but our names wouldn't fit. I thought, our names aren't that big, really. They're not that long. Shannon has 7 and I have 5 letters. Not that bad. And I had to make up this ampersand myself because it wasn't in the pattern. So I did two diamonds instead of 3. If you were to stitch this and you had wider names, you might just want to remove those boxes entirely. I like them in the pattern, but March 14th is our actual anniversary date, and it was our anniversary before it was International Pie Day. Did y'all celebrate International Gummy Worm Day last week? So I was thinking, it's getting to the point where it's kind of ridiculous, in my opinion. And then 92 is when we were married, and next year is our 25th. And then this section down here, when I first saw or started stitching on the pattern, I thought that would be so boring. It's just basic cross stitch. But that went so fast, and to be honest, I think it's my favorite part of the pattern. It's very delicate, very elegant, you don't want to touch it, you're afraid it's going to melt, kind of delicate, and I really like it. And then more roses, a couple satin hearts. This charm is not the one that's charted. It is the same size, but it's not the same one. My LNS had the same pattern inside, but it was a different metal finish, and I wanted this kind of antique silvery look. And so it is complete. Oh, and I switched the beads. The original beads are supposed to be 2mm pearls and white seed beads. I used a Magnifica silver bead, and I like the effect. So it originally called for these Mill Hill butterfly treasures right here. First of all, the treasures didn't have any holes in them, so you have to tack them down. Well, I tacked them down, and I thought they looked, lack of a better word, tacky, so I took them off. I haven't decided if I'm going to put something else there or not, but I'm thinking no. I think if I put something else there, it's going to take away from the design. So I think it is done. My husband liked it. My plan to finish this, fully finish it, is a frame and a double, if not a triple mat, and I want to take it to someone who actually knows what they're doing, because I've taken some stuff to people, oh yeah, we know. They don't have a clue. So I want it to go somebody who actually knows what they're doing. Someone asked if I would sell them the pattern. No. First of all, it's a magazine. I think there are a couple other designs in here I wanted to stitch. If I remember right, like the Christmas ornament. Here's the Christmas ornament. The snowman on the beach. Yeah, don't you love his clamshell bra? But there were a couple other things in here I did want to stitch. Also, Stoney Creek still has this, and I marked my pattern a little bit. Not incredible, messy that you can't read it, but I marked it, and Stoney Creek has back issues for $4.99. I don't think that includes shipping and handling. But if you go to stoneycreek.com and look up, where's the date on this thing? Up here. June 2009. This is the cover design. And I have ordered back issues from Stoney Creek before, and they have arrived in pristine condition. So I would feel better, rather than selling this and then shipping, and I would feel better if that person would buy their own. So she would get a brand new, pristine condition magazine. So that's finish number 1. When I needed a break, I went through my stash and I pulled this one out. Little House Needleworks Giving Thanks. I am thankful for my daily bread and for my cross-stitch thread. I bought this in Cincinnati at Keepsakes. I was there on retreat, and it included 5 classic colorworks that it calls for. It included the threads, not the fabric. So, I picked up the fabric at my LNS, probably May. So I know I went there in May. I can't remember if I went there in June, but I know I went there in May. And so I did that a few days. I started that on the 11th of June. And then I finished the anniversary sampler, and then I went back and I finished it. The fabric is 32 count Belfast. The color is natural. It's a 9x9 piece of fabric. I like how it turned out. I normally don't like the natural or the raw color. Some pieces just do not belong on it. But this one, I really like how the colors work with the fabric. how I think I'm going to finish this one is some kind of shadow box. A deeper frame, I think, because it's perfectly square. It's 91 by 91 stitches wide and high. I just think it would look good in a shadow box type of frame, or maybe even a little tray, something like that. I haven't even begun to look for an item, but yeah, there's finish number 2. I am not going to stitch this again, so I am going to pass this forward. You will only get the pattern. This is what you'll get right here. And there's also a bonus chart in here that they took pieces of the overall design and they kind of recharted them in just a bonus chart. I'm not going to stitch that. I am not going to include any fibers because the border and the words used up over half the skein. Just over half the skein on one or both of them. And you do use a lot of the caterpillar, the green color, the vines and the thread. But it is all basic cross stitch. There's no back stitching, no French knots in the main design. So I'm going to pass this forward. If you are interested in this pattern, I'll send anywhere. Comment below, I'm interested. Little House Needleworks. Please put that in your comment, otherwise that's the only way I'll know that this is what you're talking about. Oh, my shirt matches my wall. I didn't realize that. So yeah, it's a nice design, but I'm not going to stitch it again. So I'm going to pass it forward. Then I did do another new start. Oh no. Where did that go? The cross stitch finish line, their summer solstice, this one. And I started it, although I think it's this way. I think it's this way. That's all I did on it. Or is it this way? No, I think that it's this way. My needle minder is at the top, so yeah, it must be this way. Didn't get very far. I just wasn't really in the mood. After I do a big project like that, or one that's taken me a while, like my anniversary sampler, I need a few days to breathe, you know? Just not really do anything. Yeah. So I didn't even use that for the Pretty in Pink style from Stitch Maynia. Didn't bother. But I did do another start between that time and the 1st of July, and I'll show that in a little bit. On the 1st of July, I started for the cross stitch finish line Christmas in July style, this one. Lizzie Kate, Joy to the World. This was another one I picked up, excuse me, in Cincinnati. This one came with the linen and not the fabric, or excuse me, the fabric and not the fibers. And what it came with was 30 count natural linen, and it calls for Crescent Colors or Classic Colorworks, Gentle Art, and Weeks Dye Works. I think one reason I keep getting those two confused, you know, one's the old name, one's the new name. But also my LNS has, kind of as their stock is turning over, they have both labels. So it's the same company, but not all the labels are uniform yet. And July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th here, where I live here in Minnesota, it was gorgeous. Oh my, it was just stunning. I'm gonna grab my drink. It was absolutely beautiful. I had the AC off. The dew point was maybe in the 50s. Not too bad. It's when it gets in the 60s around here, the dew point. It gets sticky. I mean, we're in the land of 10,000 lakes, although technically there's over 15,000. That humidity has to go somewhere. Sure, I'm not gonna get any on any fabric. It was just gorgeous. I think on the 4th it got to 81. Otherwise it was the upper 70s. Nice breeze, keep the air moving, keep the bugs down. And I sat outside on July 4th pretty much the entire day. And I told my husband, I said, oh, if our summers were like this all the time, every day, oh, I'd be outside just sitting there. Probably stitch or read or whatever, but oh man, it was stunning. Absolutely stunning. Of course, then it's always July 4th. It's followed by July 5th. Okay, let's jump to 91. Let's bump up those dew points almost to 70. And yeah, you people in the south, you can laugh at us all you want. We laugh at you when you close down your state for ½ inch of snow. I do agree with you on ice storms, though. I don't like them. But, yeah. In the afternoon, I was sitting downstairs with the kids, and I heard a noise, and I'm like, shh, shh, shh. It was the sirens going off. So I got on my phone, and here we had been under tornado watch, meaning conditions are very possible, very likely to turn into something very quickly. And the sirens going off means that someone spotted a funnel cloud. It may not have touched the ground yet, or there's rotation. There's a certain way that tornadoes in our area, in this, I don't know if it's the whole hemisphere or just our area, turn, and they watch for that on the radar, in straight line winds and possible hail. Then the sirens go off, meaning we want everybody to go inside, be protected, be safe. So sirens are going off. We lost power for like 3 minutes, not a big deal. Went upstairs. By the time we got upstairs, you know those weather reports of our reporters out in the hurricanes, you know, with the sheets and sheets and sheets of rain. That's exactly what we had. And here's a picture. That was a mild part of the storm. It's out my back window. No, that's not our cornfield, but it's nice to have the cornfield there. Yeah, and we have a crabapple tree about 15-20 feet from our house up front. Looking out the front window, you couldn't see it. There was just so much rain. So much rain. And we have sump pumps because we have a basement, and it brings the water in through the drain tiles, pumps it out. It helps the foundation with the extremes of temperature and weather we have here in Minnesota. The rain came so hard and so fast that we didn't get any water in our sump pumps. And our house in particular is very near the water table. So normally when it's raining, you could hear the water going in, and then when it hits a certain level, it pumps it out. The rain came so fast and so hard. I mean, the streets were flooded. My husband was driving home in it, and so we were going to make supper. We're going to have Taco Tuesday. We have Taco Tuesdays because our kids are in Taekwondo, and that's an easy meal to make and clean up, and they can go to Taekwondo at night on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But we have tacos on Tuesdays, or normally, not every Tuesday, but mostly. Lost power again. And it didn't come back on for 5 hours or so. So, but that was okay because some people around us didn't get their power back for a few days. And what had happened is most of our power lines are buried, partly because of the extremes in weather. But one of those main, lines went down. And considering how they designed those to withstand high winds, and yeah, it went down. And I guess it actually landed on a guy in his truck, and he was stuck in his truck for 8 hours. The rubber tires insulated him because it was a live wire, and he didn't get out of his truck. But it took him a while to get it all shut down, and so he could safely get out of his truck. But yeah, our neighbor to the east of us, he lost one big tree, and I think he lost one of his smaller trees. A neighbor across the street lost 2 huge trees, 15-20 feet high trees, nice trunks, gone. The next day was kind of interesting because we watched pickup load and trailer load one after another. We have a compost site thing, If you're a resident, it's free. You drop your grass clippings and whatever off, and people were taking the branches over there. I imagine the line there was really long. And I bet they were checking IDs too. Every time I go there to drop off grass clippings, they check my ID. I'm like, really? I guess I have that look. They do that at Walmart too. Every time I go to a certain Walmart, they have to check my receipt. I guess I'm a dangerous woman. But, it was interesting though to see neighbors go around the neighborhood with their chainsaws. I know that sounds weird. It's a weird sentence. Yeah, everybody's just carrying their chainsaws around. But they were, hey, out to help you take the tree down. And they were helping everybody take down their stuff because we do have some older residents in our neighborhood, and they were just, hey, I'll help you. No charge. Let's just do it. And the neighbors had gone through our neighborhood so fast, there were a few trees that they couldn't do. Because they were close to fire hydrants or power lines or something, so the city actually had to come out. But the neighbors had it all done before the professional tree people were here, you know, trying to charge an arm and a leg. But yeah, it was really nice to see the neighbors and bring their big old shop brooms out and helping sweep stuff into piles to take to the mulch place. We lost a few branches, but that was about it. We did have some hail, like pea-sized hail for 5 minutes, not a big deal. We've had softball-sized hail before. And I was sitting there and I saw this thing bounce across the lawn. So the kids are inside. My husband's like, yeah. And I said, well, why is this ball bouncing across the lawn? And then pretty soon it was obvious it was hail. And we actually had to have our house reshingled 2 years back to back from hailstorms, bad hailstorms. So yeah, we can get that kind of weather here. But yeah, on July 1st and 2nd, I had gone to run errands. I had to get my driver's license renewed. The DMV. Always so fun. I did have a nice lady though. They have some cranky ladies there. I got the nice one. And my birthday is the 21st, and you're supposed to get your license 3 weeks before, so that was when I had to go. And I was in town. So yeah, and I was just running errands, and people were just so rude. I thought, what the heck? And on the second, I had to run a few more errands, and people were just... I was in the meat market getting some brats for July 4th to grill, and this woman, I'm sitting there paying for what I bought. Someone comes in the door and stands in front of me and just badgers the person trying to check me out. And will you take my debit card? And she's like, yeah. And trying to handle my order, and I'm handing her my debit card, and she just was rude and just, I thought, woman, step back. And then when I'm done, she'll handle your stuff. It was just, and then this teller from or Wells Fargo, whichever, whatever you want to call it. There's a reason we left Wells Fargo 15 years ago to go to this bank, and this woman was just a jerk. My son had a check from babysitting, and I'm like, deposit into savings. Well, you don't have his number on here. I had him endorse it. I'm like, well, there's my ID. Well, that's not acceptable. I said, bull. He's a minor, first of all. He's under 18. I am a signator. You know, I can access his account and everything. So you look at my ID, you see all the accounts I have access to. And you just deposit this check. Deposit. I don't want any money out. I don't want to transfer. Just deposit the check. I suppose I'll do it this time. Like, really? I'm paying your wages, you old bat. I'd never seen her before. And I thought, you know, we've been customer here for 15 years. Yeah. And then she didn't accept the check anyway. Well, she didn't put his last name on there. This could be for a Jones or a Smith. Well, it's not. He's endorsed it. So she wouldn't accept the check, and I'm like, okay, just give it back to me, because if you walk in, the tellers are so much nicer than the drive-up tellers. So I was stitching on this piece, and I had The Lord Has Come, and then I was working on this line. These are two different greens. And my thread ran out because it's special fibers, hand dyed. So I started here and I worked my way back, because you finish each stitch with hand dyeds to get the overall effect. Here's where my thread ended up, right here. Oi to the world! Yeah, that's how I felt. And I had to laugh because that's exactly where my thread ended up. And I said, yeah, that's pretty much the last 2 days. Oi to the world! I like Tim Roth on Lie to Me, and he's British and he always says, oi. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what I felt like. But on the 5th, when everybody else went to bed, and if you have a disaster relief storm kit, might I suggest those LED candles? Because, yeah, you can't read by them, but you could play cards or something by them. And if you have little kids, probably even pets, you don't have to worry about them knocking it over. And that's what we had. I had a set of those, 7 of them I got at Costco. And we had those, one in the bathroom and all that. And my 2-year-old, he would knock it over unintentionally. Well, I thought that was a good idea because I didn't have to worry about something burning down. But on the 5th, everybody else went to bed. I mean, there really wasn't much else to do. I stayed up because one of our sons was working, and I didn't know if we'd have power. When the boys work late, we have them come through the garage door, and I didn't know if we had power, he wouldn't be able to get in. So I stayed up, and then the power came back on, but I used my mighty bright light, and I finished. I really like the colors on this. I think it turned out really nice. I mean, it's Christmas-y, but not, it's still a unique. And this, I don't like this linen. I don't know what brand it is. It's not Zweigart, but I don't like this linen. It is so stiff. So stiff. Versus, where'd the other one go? This one's natural. It has a little more movement to it. Oh, I don't like this. But it came with the pattern, and I do like the colors on it. So that one is finished, number 3. And no, I'm not passing this one forward because somebody's already claimed it. So I am passing it forward, but somebody's already claimed it. Maybe that's the best way to say it. And then I had the chance to go and stitch with some other ladies near my LNS. I was so close. I mean, it's like not even a block away. So I went there, and my daughter's birthday, my youngest daughter's birthday, was Friday the 15th. And I picked this up for her. It says Let Freedom Ring in July. This is by Pillow Mountain Designs, and it's actually a pillow. So when she stitches the Ada and the fibers here, and there is a needle in here somewhere, over here. Although I don't like it when they put the needle in the fabric. Personal thing. But when she's done, then she can just slip it into the pillow here, and it's finished. And this is kind of where her cross-stitching skills are. She wants to do a Mira. She wants to do a big, beautiful lady, or mermaid. She hasn't decided yet. But she wanted a girl, so I found one with a girl, and it's her birth month. And this will be a little more challenging, but it's solid colors still, no blends or I don't think there's any French knots. There is some back stitching, so I got that for her birthday. Also, I got her some coloring books and some jewelry. But I also, well, in June, I think it was June. I must have gotten the LNS in June because I picked this up when I went there. Willow Queen, Nora Corbett. And someone had, at the retreat, converted this to white. And yes, I do know the name, but I'm not going to mention it here. And so I'm going to do the white conversion, but I'm going to do it on Under the Sea Fabrics Naiad. I think that will look really, really nice to have this be the white conversion on this fabric. And this is 32 count Belfast. So I ordered that. And when I placed my order for the Naiad, I also bought a fat quarter of 32 count Belfast in Sea God. This is for Aphrodite. I forgot to grab my pattern to remind you what Aphrodite looks like. But this is for Aphrodite. And apparently, the gentleman that was at the retreat, and I'm not going to say his name because I don't have permission to say his name, he and I are in the same wavelength because he is doing it on this fabric also. I think she'll look beautiful. And I also ordered from Leslie Rapunzel. Yeah, she's beautiful. And my last name, some of you know my last name begins with an R. It works. And she doesn't have any water lilies. She just has some Krennic, a lot of beads. So, and only one blend. I like that. She's beautiful. I don't have any fabric picked out for her or ordered or anything. I'm looking, I think something that's a little lighter on the background would look nice with her. I'm looking at Ophelia. They just keep picking on him. He'll be fine. He's been, last Tuesday we woke up and he had pink eye. Yeah. Last week was our first week of homeschool because we're starting homeschool now. And yes, my kids have plenty of time to play and be kids, but they get bored in the summer and they get in trouble. So I'm like, you know what, we're doing some school. And we'll be taking November off anyway, so, and I'll talk about that. I have one more video I would like to make in the next week, and I'll talk about that then. But, yeah, he had pink eye. So we're still giving him drops and everything, and those little buggers, when you give him medicine, you're surprised how strong a little 2-year-old is. How fast he can wiggle. When I went to the L&S, before I went stitching, I picked up this. My birthday is this Thursday, and I bought this for myself. This is Emerald Mermaid Mirabilia. I do not have fabric picked out for her. She's not on a time frame, but I thought she was pretty. And it's from a woman who... Aphrodite was the first mermaid I bought. But then I went and I looked at the Nora Corbett mermaid, so Emerald Mermaid is the second. And I found Sea Flora, the one that Coffee Stitcher finished recently, although I think he changed. Okay, did it just jump there? So Sea Flora and Siren Song. So they're smaller mermaids. And then I also purchased from Picture This Plus, my L&S carries some of their fabrics. And this is 32 count. This must be Belfast. It's called Serene. And it's kind of a minty green. Standard. You're not going to get the accurate color of the fabric because of my crappy lighting. That's pretty close. It's one of their newer colors, I think. But it's like a really light, almost minty green. And I think that both, I got a big enough piece that I can stitch both of these on. If you look at the ribbons here and then like her tail, I think she'll look really good on this fabric. And with Siren Song, in her tail here is light greens, so I think this will help pull that out too. I haven't thrown the floss on yet to figure it out if it really, what I have in my head will work on the fabric, but that's okay. So while I was at the gathering for stitchers, I had brought this one. Cleaning the house while children are still growing is like shoveling snow when it's still snowing. I have a lot of kids. Live in Minnesota. Need I say more? I had started this in January. I'd written it down. January 20th, I think. Yeah, I think it's January 20th. January 20th. I started that one, and I'd only worked on it that one day. So I pulled it out, and I finished it. So I think I might have worked on it the night before the stitching gathering. The purple on the bottom letters, I had what was charted, but everything else, it's charted for Gast or Weeks. I didn't have those colors, but I went through my Gast and Weeks and chose something that's similar. And the fabric is 28 count Lugana. It's called Antique Fields. I think it turned out nice. So that is finished number. And the Joy to the World, I'm thinking the flat mount on a plaque finish that Tara showed us. Although the plaque, I want it to be something kind of different. And I haven't even looked, so I have no clue. This one, I don't know. I'm not sure how I want to finish this one. I want it hung on the wall, but beyond that, I don't know. So, I know that I'm not going to stitch this one again. So if you're interested in this one and this one, which I stitched earlier, I started this one in January and I finished it a while ago. I don't think I wrote down when I finished it, just that I had finished it. Yeah, I didn't write down when, but I know I showed it in a video. I think March, maybe. Maybe it was March. But if you are interested in these two patterns, I will pass them on. So in the comments below, there's the Little House Needlework pattern, and just say Lizzie Kate, and I'll know what you're talking about. And again, I'll ship anywhere. But you do need to specify. And then I pulled out, I thought, well, okay, I'm gonna roll. What else can I do that I started in January? I started this one in January, Inspiration Sampler by Elizabeth's Needlework Designs. It's mostly backstitching, but it has the charms in it. And so I started restitching it during the stitching time, and then I finished it Saturday. And so yeah, this charm isn't quite the same, but it works. So this is finished number 5. So it is done. And this one, again, I don't know how I want to finish it. It's stitched on 28 count Brittany Mushroom. I'm not sure how I want to finish that one. Fully finish it. So I have to think about that one. I think it would look weird as a cube. It might not. But I'm not going to stitch this one again. So I will pass this one forward. And if you're interested in this one, just put sampler in the comments. And then I'll pass those 3 packages on, so to speak. I also had a chance at Barnes & Noble to pick up this. Really the only one I like is the Seasons in Chalk. This one. Although I do like the Christmas preview of the ornaments. Some of those are really cute. The snowman, though, his mouth looks weird. But I like the rest of him. It's just his mouth is kind of creepy. So I might stitch that and just change his mouth. But yeah, I have that one too. Then I started this one, Morning Glory, Nora Corbett, and I had on my round robin just stitched a center section here, but I'm restitching the entire pattern now. And I only started her. I've only worked on her, I think, one day. And just have some of the white. And this is 32 count Belfast, and it's called Marble. It's a nice neutral. I also said, okay, then what piece do I want to work on that I've already started from January? And so I had thought I'd do Celtic Winter. I got it out. Just like, not calling to me. But Raven Queen was. And so hopefully I have a picture when I restarted, I'll put it here. And if I didn't, I'll try and remember where I was at, because I only had black on the one day I worked on it in January. Here's where I'm at now. I had to have some blood work done, and sitting there forever and a day type of thing. And so I was able to add all this up here, and I added this, but of course once I got to here I realized I was off, so I had to rip it all out. Darn frog. But I added the silk here. I can't remember the color. I think it's Monsoon. I'm not sure though. And then I added some black down here. And in my needle right now is some black, so I'm continuing down here. The middle of the project is here. That's why I have this silky sliver in here. Just to give you an idea of perspective on where she's at. But I'm just going to continue on her dress. And yeah, I'm tempted to do skin 1/1, but skin 1/1 is not, it probably won't happen. The fabric is 32 count Belfast. It's from Chromatic Alchemy, and it is called Maelstrom. And Michelle and Adele and Amanda, Stitching Joanne. I'm so jealous when you guys show your Chromatic Alchemy. She has beautiful work. There's so many hand dye companies. The colors they develop are so stunning. And I think 20 years when I started cross stitching, that is white, blue, or gray was pretty much it. Natural might have been in there somewhere, but it wasn't the selection there is now. Sorry, I'm slipping off my stool. Can't do that. I mentioned that between finishing the Giving Thanks and July 1st, while I was waiting for the Christmas and July sale to start, I had a new start. Now, this is Queen Anne's Lace, Nora Corbett from the Just Cross Stitch magazine, April 2016. And I finished this in April of 2016. It's on 32 count Jolin, Georgia Peach from Fabrics by LJ. Sorry, itch in my nose. She went to the retreat with me. And when I was stitching on her, I saw her stitched in another colorway. So I decided, instead of just having this idea clatter around my brain, I might as well just start it. And so here is where I'm at. This is 32 count Jolin Ice Princess from Under the Sea Fabric. Some nice blues in there. There are two different ways I can go with this colorway, and I haven't quite decided which way to go. So I figure I'm going to finish the skirt, and when I have the blue all done, then I'll figure out which way I want to go. Because there's two different ways, and I keep going back and forth. Which way should I go or not? This is my own colorway, so it's a work in progress, and I'm fiddling with it. When I'm done with it, I will make it available somehow. But yeah, I saw it in a different colorway, so that's what I started. I mentioned that my birthday is this week, and a sweet friend that I met at the retreat, the people we met, or I met at my table, it was so interesting. It was like we'd been friends forever. She sent me a birthday gift, and it arrived on Saturday, so it was an early birthday gift. Country Cottage Needleworks, the Cottage, and this is January. And she also included There's 2 special fibers in it, otherwise it's DMC. She also included those. One is called Cocoa, and the other, I can't see the label right now. I think it's called Dirt Road. I'm not sure though. I know I've purchased Dirt Road recently for a different project, so it's possible I'm getting them confused. But yeah, this is one series that I have wanted for a while, especially when Carolyn was stitching it. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Pebble Beach. Pebble Beach by Classic Colorworks. So she included those 2 colors. And this one. Glendon Place Plum Pudding. I have some cross-stitching money for my birthday for my hubby. Thinking I might buy the dinky dies. The fabric, I'm not sure if I want to do the Picture This Plus fabric that they did the model on, or an antique white, or what I want to do. I haven't made my mind up on that. I keep going back and forth. So, lovely early birthday gift. And if you're watching, thank you. You know who you are. But I think that's all I have. I think so. Let me double check my handy dandy blue notebook. Yeah, I know. Anniversary sampler. Da, da, da. Yep, went through all that. If you're interested in the Lailani pattern that I showed, that I made a burst announcement out of, it is now available with Witchelt.com. So I suggest you look in the search bar under Hula, and it should come up. It's a free download for everybody, and she does stitch up really nicely. So that's available. And Picture This Plus is having a sale on July 25th, 25% off all their fabrics. I keep going back and forth if I'm going to order or not. They know I'm making a video. And Little Miss Drama Queen, she just turned 8. She's going on 35. Anyway, Picture This Plus is having a sale on July 25th, 25% off all their fabrics. They do sell other things on their website, but only the fabrics are going to be on sale. And I keep going back and forth because that Plum Pudding calls for Picture This, or it was stitched originally on Picture This Plus, and so I'm not sure if I'm going to order that fabric or not. But I have to go now because I have some children that are going to go to their bedroom. My oldest daughter took some of, including the birthday girl, some of the children swimming at her apartment building. And apparently they have not caught up on their sleep since they did that. But I thank you for watching and subscribing. And I do plan on doing one more video in the next week. Yeah. And until then, I'm enjoying all your guys' videos. And if you don't do videos, please realize you are a huge part of this community. Your comments and encouragement and thumbs up, and it's great. That's what makes this a community, is that there's a variety of people making videos, a variety of people watching them and commenting. So you are key to this community too. So I gotta go deal with some kids. Oi to the world. We'll see you later. Bye. I forgot to say how long I was going to do the, or when I was going to do the drawing for the patterns. So today is the 18th of July, 2016, and I will keep it open till August 10th, 2016. So you can write below LizzieKate, Sampler, or Little House Needleworks. Yes, you can enter all 3. You cannot win all 3. I'll ship anywhere.